So let me continue. As I mentioned it before, there are also some bazubands which are shown without any hand protection in miniatures, but interestingly, also in museums. I'll show you one made of rhino hide from a Persian bazuband made of rhino hide from the State Hermitage Museum in Russia, St. Petersburg. You saw that examples of that. You saw that with hand protection in Iranian Museum, Military Museum of Tehran. It's not about complex. Here, if you take a look closely at it, there are no holes. So to say that they used hand protection with it. So they're depicted in the Iranian Museum. So could it be that they had separate mittens? Yes, it could be. I will show it to you. As you see that in Caucasian area, Caucasus, they had that, but not that much in Iran, but they are Iranian Persian examples. Here you see a better picture of this rhino hide. You see it here, two main plates connected to each other. Look at this one, the same thing here, no hand protection. But here you can see that hand protection is possibly missing, right? And here as well, you see that these are made of patterned crucible steel. And these are made by Sergei Gobatko from hardened steel. All of them are hardened, forged and hardened. And with the leather background, you can see it here. And then this is gambeson actually, right? Also to give it more protection with linen. See that? So they're riveted to this, and you put it with a piece of cloth fabric. I'm going to show you now examples of that, how I use them. You can see that here, examples of it. See, no hand protection. So could it be that they wanted to have the hands free to have better connection and then fight? I will explain to you later that fighting in a battlefield was different. It was not that you give complete protection as we simulate today or back then in duels and try to, have as much protection as we want. Back then, first they fought with sharps, and second, there was a reason that some of them didn't protect their hands. Their purpose was not, imagine you face a very strong animal as they went hunting, Asian lions, tigers, whatever, elephants, whatever, and human body is no match against animals. Even in bullfighting, human body is no match against the force of an animal. So they had to avoid, to evade, and then try to hunt the animal. So let's put it that way. When they saw someone in armor who had more protection, the goal was to conquer that person, be it one against one or multiple opponents against one. So it changes the whole nature of the fighting. I just wanted to say there is something we need to take into consideration. Here you can see it as well. No protection of the hand, as you can see it here. You see that? See that? Here again, bazubands, no protection of the hands again. As you see that here, you see it here. So now I'm going to show it to you. TV. Now I'm going to show you another set of bazubands. These bazubands have, as you can see, no hand protection. You can see in some of these in miniatures. And so they are made of hardened steel, multiple layers. I show it to you. Also made by Sergei Gobatko, our armor of Razovsar. You see multiple layers. and multiple layers of steel and plates. I mean multiple plates, and then no. Welcome back to Razmafzar TV. I'm going to show you another type, and these types, as you can see, some Persian miniatures, they don't have a hand protection, and these are made of different plates, steel plates, and they have a leather back, right? So they're riveted to the leather back. There's some Persian ones also made like that, and so it's very light, right, or lighter compared to some others, and then they don't have no hand protection. So what does it mean they have no hand protection? You've seen it in some Persian miniatures, they don't have hand protection. And also there are some examples, historical examples. I've shown you like in Hermitage Museum, and they don't have any rivets or anything which indicates that, or which indicate that they were used or connected to any other ones. There are two things: that they used separated gloves for them, right? Or they didn't use anything like the miniatures show us. But then the miniatures are not pictures, sometimes they're artistic conventions, I'm aware of that, but still something which, am I going to leave the hands open so I have more connection? Remember, a battlefield back then was not a fencing match or this dueling we do like in the full contact, in armored combat, or we do like in many historical fencing things, they hit the hand the first thing. Remember back then when you fight in a battlefield, there were other considerations. You know, even a heavily armored man could have been, you know, eliminated by a lighter one if he could calculate, avoid direct contact, and go and find a weakness in the armor, or some people together could find a weakness in the armor of the person. So battlefield had other requirements, right? So maybe that's the reason they wanted to have a touch with their weapons better. They wanted to have, or maybe they used gloves. As you have seen, there were also some separated gloves with riveted mail on top of them, like in Caucasia they used it, but we have also Persian examples. I've shown you in Hermitage one examples of them, not many, and maybe they just left it that they had separated. First, I don't protect them, leave them as you see in miniatures, and I go there. And of course, I can tell you, when I come here and cut, right, I can go much. I feel less weight, right? I'm strong, of course. You know, I could do everything. Let me just say, if I come here, I can do and cut and cut, no problem. I can come from here, give Shamshiba Zadan, go and trust. I can come and trust and come back and do Shamshiba Zadan, right? If I'm here, I can go and give a cut, then another cut, horizontal cut. There's no problem. Or if I'm here, I can come up and cut, right, and cut. Of course, then the thing is, for this hand, it doesn't play a major role because my shield hand is protected by the shield. Chances that it can go in is still there, but not that much, right? I have this mushroom principle, as I call it, and you saw it in the first one. The problem remains this, but what if I try to protect my hand at all time and I'm fast enough and still they can hit my bazuband, my arm faster, because targeting the hand will be very difficult. Is it the reason they left it unprotected? There is something which we need to take into consideration. Some miniatures show that the hands are protected, some show that they are not. And this is also not only an artistic convention in a sense. There are some miniatures that show both. Some warriors have bazubands with hand protection, and some are using bazuband without hand protection. So this is something which we need to take into consideration what we are then looking at. Let me just now go and use gloves with them.